last time we were here, I told you about the 7 continents. We saw the 7 continents, correct? Now let's go ahead and see the next. Most of the water in the oceans, you can see here, this water which is there in the oceans, it is salty. That means the content of salt is very much in this salt, in this ocean water. We cannot drink this water because it is salty. But let me tell you one thing, you can swim easily in this water because it is very easy. It is very, we can say you can train yourself if you want to swim, then the salt water is good for swimming because you can float on that easily. So here, most of the water in the oceans, it is salty. So you cannot drink this water. Now, as you saw that ocean, there are total 5 oceans on the earth. On our earth, we have 7 continents and 5 oceans. So which are these oceans? The first one is the Pacific Ocean. You can see I have shown both the slides over here, both the pictures are here. The Pacific Ocean. Then we have the Atlantic Ocean, that's here. If you see according to the world map, here Atlantic Ocean. Then we have the Southern Ocean to the south. We have the Indian Ocean and the Arctic Ocean. We will repeat the names again. Pacific, Indian, Atlantic, Southern and Arctic. So total 5 oceans are there. The largest ocean is the Pacific Ocean and the smallest is the Arctic Ocean. The way we have the continents, the largest continent is Asia and the smallest continent is Australia. Similarly, the largest ocean is Pacific and the smallest ocean is Arctic. Now, here you can see the land over here, land near the margins of an ocean. This is your ocean and this is the land. So the land which is there close to the ocean, or we can say the border, margin means the border. So the land along the margins of the ocean, what it is called, this land which is close to the ocean or close to the sea, or close to the water body, it is called the coastal region. And Mumbai is one of the coastal region. Now, if you can guess with the picture, of course the names will come later. See here, sea, bay, strait, gulf and creek. What are these? These are the different water bodies which are formed. Like we have oceans, we have the sea water. The sea water is also salty. We have bay. You can see the bay here, water. Again, a water body. Strait, connecting the two lands. So this is a strait. Gulf. The Gulf of Suez I have shown over here. The Gulf of Aqaba is also here. This is a gulf. And a creek. So in all these water bodies, you can see water. Sea, bay, strait, gulf and creek. Where they go? All the water which is there in this will meet the ocean. So now let us see what is surface water. See, there are many streams of water which provide us fresh water. Fresh water means the water which we can drink. In the previous slides you saw the sea water or the ocean water is salty, we cannot drink. But what about this fresh water? So there are many streams of fresh water which provides us fresh water. So which are the streams we will see ahead? from where we get the fresh water. So that fresh water is known as the surface water. So you can see the rills, brooks, stream. Rills, brooks and stream, they come together and then they form a river. Again, I'll repeat. Now these are fresh water bodies. Fresh water bodies. Rills, brooks, stream, all these together. Fresh water body means whatever water is coming from the rills, from the brooks, or from the streams, it is meant for drinking, but directly you cannot drink that water. We need the processing, we need the purification. But these are the sources of water, fresh water, or we can say the surface water. Now, these are small sources, and when they join together, rills also meet the river, brooks also meet the river, and stream also meets the river. So when these water meet, they form a river. And ahead, this river water will go into the ocean. But before going into the ocean, this river water is not salty. When it meets the ocean or the sea, then it becomes salty. So these are the fresh water bodies where we can get fresh water or the surface water to drink. Now here, as I told you, the formation of river. Now what happens to the river? A river which is small will turn into a big river. So here you can see small rivers which are coming from all the sides. Here, small rivers, these are all rivers. So these small rivers, they join and form a big river. Now what are these small rivers called? They are known as tributaries. So these small rivers are known as tributaries. So these are the tributaries and they form a big river. You can see here, these small rivers are known as tributaries. So this is one river which is flowing, one river coming from here, one river coming from here. So all these are tributaries and then they will form a big river. Now, sometimes what happens in some of the places, now this is a river which is flowing. Now this river it falls down. You can see the water falling down. It is the water which is falling down. So a river water, when it falls down, what it is known as? It is known as a waterfall. In some places, a river cascades down. Cascade down means it flows down. And this form is known as a waterfall. You can see the waterfalls. Now also during the rainy season, you can see in various different places, waterfalls will be there, springs will be there, fountains will be there. Now, in the previous slide, I showed you that small rivers, that is tributaries, they will form a big river. And when they form the big river, after that, what happens to the river water? The river water meets the ocean water. The river water will meet the ocean water. So here, river meets the ocean. Now, look at this beautiful picture. You can see around the mountains are there. And this is a water. Now, this water is not salty. This water is a fresh water. Which is this water body? It is a water body which is naturally formed. This water body, you can see the mountains over here. At the foot of the mountains, this water body is there. So in a low-lying area, this is a low-lying area. So in a low-lying area, the water gets collected. So when the water gets collected naturally, see now also, if it rains, then the water will get collected. So this collection of water in a low-lying areas is known as lakes. I am making myself clear. What do you mean by low-lying areas? Low-lying areas means at the foot, the plain areas near the foot of the mountains. So these are the mountains, and below the mountains down at the foot, this is the foot. So here we will have a low-lying areas where there will be water bodies. Now, which is this water? It is naturally collected. So this naturally collected water in a low-lying areas is called lake. Now, in some places, what happens? Water bodies in the cloud, the water which is there in the cloud, it freezes. You can see here the snowballs. Okay, it freezes the water body. Now, when it does not rain, it will snow. So when it snows, you can see here the snow is falling down. So when the snow falls down, when it comes down, then it forms a layer on the surface of water. This is a layer which is formed on the surface of water. So water bodies, what happens? In the cloud, the water freezes. When the water freezes, it comes down in the form of snow. You can see the snow falling. And when the snow falls on the surface, what happens to the snow? It will turn into ice. So this is the sheet of ice which is floating. This is another big, huge block of ice, we can say. Now this is also ice, but it is a huge block, not small. So what happens? That ice keeps on piling up, one above the other. The layer keeps on piling up, and what happens to that ice? It becomes the layer upon layer. It piles up, and then it slips down. That ice which is there, it forms layers and it slips down at a very slow speed. So this is a glacier, a form of ice, but it is formed because of the layers of ice. And then it slips down slowly in the water, and you can see a glacier. Then the next one, huge blocks, more than the glacier. You can see here, these are the huge blocks of ice which are floating in the sea. And these huge blocks of ice which are floating in the sea are called icebergs. So there is a difference between the ice, glacier, and icebergs. Glacier is also what? It is a form of ice. The layer of ice club together. That is glacier. And more than the huge than the glacier will be your icebergs floating in the water. Now you must be wondering, it is so huge, it is ice and still it floats in water. Why it doesn't sink down? There is a reason for it, scientific reason. The density of ice is less than water. That's why the ice floats on water. So you know now this huge blocks of ice floating in the sea called icebergs. Now look here, this diagram. This is a well. Here it is a well. Now, if this is a well, we are standing over here. And I'll take a pointer. Now, if we are standing over here, we want the water from the well. The water which is there in the well, where it comes from? How this water is there here in the well? Now, let us see how it is. Imagine the rain falls here. From here, the rain falls. Then it goes down, it seeps down in the soil. The soil absorbs that water. What happens to that water? It gets collected. Some water gets collected here. After that, it dries away. But some water goes down. Porous rocks, the rocks which absorb the water. So here you can see when the rain falls, the water gets collected over here. This is the water table. This entire is the water table. Here the water gets collected. This is groundwater. Now, when you dig a well, so the well is dug till here. And that's why this water which is collected in this layer of soil, we get that water in the well. And this is how you can see the wells form. I have showed both the pictures over here where you can see this is your well. Okay, when you see from outside, when you want water, this is the groundwater. I explained you how you will get the groundwater. The water seeps into the soil and you will get this water, this groundwater, which is there underground. Now this is a bore well. This is a bore well which is dug into the soil. Again, why this bore well? So that you get water. So what are wells, bore wells? All these are the different sources from where we get the water. So the water vapor or ice, groundwater. What we learned till now? The water vapor or ice. We saw the ice. The groundwater also we saw. The groundwater from where we get? From the well, from the bore well. Water vapor in the atmosphere. Okay. They together form Earth's hydrosphere. As I told you, what do you mean by hydrosphere? Layer of water. But which are the layers? This hydrosphere is formed by which water bodies? It is formed by water vapor or ice, groundwater, and water vapor in the atmosphere. Together form Earth's atmosphere. Look at this picture. These are the layers of the, come on, tell this one. These are the layers of the air now. We finished with hydrosphere. We are moving ahead towards the atmosphere. Now you can see the layers which are formed. Again, I will show you the slide. This is your surface of the earth, and your surface is covered with the layers of air. The layer of air is called atmosphere. And when we go, see, this is the arrow which is indicating that when you go away from the earth, that means when you go at the height, these are the different layers of air. So as you move up, as you move higher in the air, what happens to the air? It becomes thinner. When you go away from the surface of the earth, the air becomes thinner. Exactly, thinner means what? The oxygen level in the air reduces. So when you are at a height, then the oxygen level reduces. So this is what, as we move higher, the air becomes thinner or rare. Now, the atmosphere. We are studying about atmosphere. Atmosphere means the layer of air. So, this atmosphere consists of which gases? The atmosphere consists of nitrogen gas, oxygen, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. Water vapor, the steam of water, that is water vapor. So our atmosphere consists of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and small amount of other gases also. This is your atmosphere. As I told you, I showed you the different layers of atmosphere. So we have to see the different layers of atmosphere. Now these layers which are there of atmosphere, I will explain you in the next session.